Hello, folks. Welcome to the newest episode of Pigeon Laughs Festival, the podcast. Today, I am joined by Joe McGowan. Okay, not McGowan, McGowan, and you'll very shortly know why I made that mistake. Joe is a very fun person to talk with. If you don't know Joe or you don't know his work, Joe is a London-born and Essex-raised filmmaker with over 10 years of experience as a director and editor in the TV commercial and branding content world. He's been previously selected at the festival. He was selected with two shorts at the very first festival, Piss Up and Couple Noises, and Joe McGowan, oh my god, I've made that mistake again, has been selected once again to Pigeon Laughs Festival 2025 with his very funny short film, P is for Penis. Now, this is a conversation you want to tune into because we first start by talking about Joe's inspirations in filmmaking and how he uses real-life experiences to write and direct his short films. And we finish the episode by diving into tips for people who want to succeed in the short film circuit. So if you've written your shorts and direct and you're looking for tips to how can you improve your chances of being selected for a short film festival, especially if you write comedy and you're into these sort of things, Joe will give you some nice tips on how to get selected. So please tune in and enjoy my conversation with me and Joe McGowan.
Most people in a stretch, you know, Tim. You're being a big baby.
What? What you looking at, you fucking milk?
Someone here is a snitch.
It was him.
Me?
I just
I can
don't
take
know
all
how
mine,
he
but
lives.
I'm not
himself.
going to because it's
The
private.
poor
And
sick
why would I even know
bastard.
about your pig?
How did it happen?
What is happening? I just wanted a quiet drink.
Recording is indeed in progress. Hello, everyone. I am joined today with Joe McGowan. Am I pronouncing that right, Joe?
McGowan. Nearly there.
McGowan. Oh my days, all my life I thought, oh, this another submission by Joe McGowan, but it's actually McGowan. Is that where's that surname originally? Is there
I mean, it's just very Celtic. It's sort of Irish and Scottish roots. So it came from Ireland. They moved over to Scotland and then invaded England, which is where I am.
and that's the history of the world, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Where are you speaking us from? Where are you based?
So I live in Bishop Stortford now. So I'm in Hertfordshire.
Hertfordshire. Okay, so that like Midlands way?
No. So that's so I'm from Essex originally, and the next county sort of to the west of Essex is Hertfordshire. So it's kind of on the outskirts of London, really.
Outskirts of London. Okay, that makes that makes sense. My first question to you, I wanted to first. I mean, I've seen a lot of your stuff. I mean, when I say a lot, I've seen 3 selected short films. Which, once again, congratulations on your most recent selection at the Pigeon Laughs Festival. But one question that that has always lingered with me is how have you gotten into making films? And we'll start with films and then we'll go into comedy. But what was your first link into wanting to pursue a career in filmmaking?
I think so. When I went to school, when I went to high school, it was all, pretty normal sort of courses and learning and academia and stuff, which really didn't sort of gel well with me that much. It wasn't until I went to sixth form college that there was an option to do a media course where you would learn really basics of sort of filmmaking and editing in particular. I thought, oh, that sounds different. That sounds, a lot better than, math and science, which I, wasn't very good at. And I sort of really took to it in sixth form college and then went to university and studied it. And then, yeah, just felt like I'd found my calling from there.
Okay, so you started sort of from a young age. What would we say, like 18, 19, you were making your first short?
Well, I mean, very first short is probably after I graduated university. So I was probably sort of 21, 22 when I made my very first short out of there. I made 2 shorts in uni, but after a while you don't really count them.
And
Um,
what course did you study?
So I did digital video and broadcast technology at university for 2 years
What
as a
university, if you don't mind me asking?
It was so I did my foundation degree at Confetti Institute of Creative Technology, which is based in Nottingham,
Hmm.
and then I did a final year at De Montfort University in Leicester in video and animation production.
All right. Now, so then, yeah, it's good when filmmakers can back their career with their education. I mean, there's so many that just eventually like they pick up a camera first and they just never stopped and they actually never had any traditional formal training. But as I'm actually interested, do you think you would be able to do what you're doing right now if it wasn't for that formal academic training? I'm just curious.
Well, me personally, I definitely needed a change of scenery from growing up in Essex. So me
Hmm.
going to Nottingham and Leicester in the Midlands definitely benefited me and sort of kick-started that love even more, I think, in a
Yeah.
more professional setting. Because when I wasn't studying, I was also doing, free gigs and work experience and was getting a real taste for video production on the whole. So that definitely helped me. I think I need a bit of structure to kind of get things going for me. So it
Yeah.
was, yeah, pretty important
Oh,
for my career.
very good. My next question. I wanted to now jump into your first. Funny enough, your first two shorts that were selected at the very first Pigeon Laughs Festival, which they were Piss Up and Couple Noises. They're two very different shorts, both in its content but also in the way audience react to.
Mm,
But there's one thing that they have in common, I say, which is the fact that they're both uh, very silly and visual. Like those seem to be, and even with, and we'll later on we'll speak about Peace for Penis, but there seems to be a recurring theme in what you do as a filmmaker, which to have this very silly and visual tone. My question to you is why do you lean towards that genre of comedy? Let's just say that.
I think it's just my happy place in general, really. I think the sillier something can be, the funnier it can be. Whether it's something that's got sort of, sort of gross out humor like piss up, or something that's a bit more kind of relatable and endearing, which is couple
Mm-hmm.
noise. Um, yeah, I kind of lean towards things which are a bit sort of loud and brash, which is kind of a bit like me as a person anyway. So it's yeah,
Yeah,
putting
it's
myself
good.
into my work and hopefully it resonates with people.
I can see that. Yeah, 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 yeah. With
I'm
the
from Essex, so it goes with the territory, really.
oh, okay, okay, okay. So that's good. That's good to know. With them, for instance, oh, okay. I will start with Piss Up. I mean, if people haven't seen Piss Up, first of all, where can they see the short?
You could go to my website, which is thejoemcgowan.co.uk/comedy, and all my
Okay.
shorts are on that page.
Yeah. So I actually I ask for people to go and see because it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I will say that, you know, but if you're into that very silly, over the top, in your face humor, this will definitely tickle your bone and make you laugh a lot. What was that first inspiration to do Piss Up? I mean, you just had the idea, is that what was, because it very much builds into a punchline in the short. Where'd you get that inspiration? You first saw that they had that idea and I was like, oh, that would be good to make into a gag and then work your way backwards?
Yeah, so it is loosely based off of a true story, and it's something that happened to a friend of mine. He went to a rugby match at Twickenham, like a rugby sevens game, and the kind of crowds that go to rugby sevens, almost like the darts crowd. So people sort of, it's there for a big booze up session, and they go fancy dress, and there just happens to be a rugby match on.
Right.
It's quite a rowdy crowd. So my friend Spencer, he goes to the loo, and it's one of those big, sort of tin trough urinals, and
Hmm.
there's a guy in the corner who's quite drunk, and he goes to the other end. And then after a few seconds, he sees something out the corner of his eye going up the wall, and he looks over, and the guy is pissing up the wall, up and up and up and up. And then eventually he turns the hose on himself and drinks his own piss. And he just does this in front of my friend Spencer. And he told me this story on a stag do
No.
about sort of 20 other guys, and we all cried laughing at just how ridiculous that was. And I just thought that's such a stupid, ridiculous story that works as an escalation sketch. Like it's perfect because it's just, yeah, it goes up and up and up, and eventually it's the horrible turn. So I kind of took the premise of that story, and then I wrote a punchline of the young guy going, "Oh, Dad, we've talked about this," and Dad's like, "Oh, sorry,"
Yes.
just as like an extra
Mm.
flourish on the end, chuck in some classical music, and you got yourself a short basically.
Oh my God. I
But
mean,
that
first of
was
all, I'm gutted that you spoiled the punchline, but but if but I can't believe that was actually based on a real life experience.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, you come across those stories very rarely, and whether I believe my friend, I
Hmm.
don't think he would come up with that story on his own, but it's just, yeah, being sort of right time, right place to witness something that horrendous. The other side of me actually making it was, I was working for a production company at the time, and we were doing these series of very corporate videos for a bank. And I had a very bad experience on set where we were filming people with an iDirect, so it was sort of a bit of equipment that goes over the camera, so it looks like they're looking straight into the lens of the camera, but they're actually seeing like a mirror reflection of the director next to camera. So if you ever watch a Netflix documentary where they're looking straight down the barrel, that's kind of what they use. And this guy that we interviewed on this one day just took complete offense to it. It was just like, this is the worst camera setup I've ever seen in my life. This is, I thought, can I just get my assistant in and I'll talk to her and all that sort of stuff. And my boss is the DOP and he didn't stand up for me at all. So I was just like, it really kind of put my nose out of joint. And I was just like, I really just want to now make something that's just for me and no one would ever ask me to make. That I had
Yeah.
that story. I was just like, I'm gonna go make that now and cheer myself up. And that was it.
Oh, so you made that the even the short off the back of sort of a frustrating, not very pleasing job as well.
Yeah, kind of almost out of spite, but not quite.
I see.
It was just more of like I need to make something that I'm going to enjoy. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think that the actual shoot day itself, it was literally like 4 hours in the alley of like down the side of my brother's house, like really small crew, two actors, and everyone was just laughing the entire day. I was just like, I think I've got something, and I think I want to do this. I want to do more of this.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And was that the first short that you started applying for festivals? Was Piss Up your sort of your first call card?
Yeah, yeah, that was the first one. And like you can imagine, it got a very mixed response. I think the first festival I heard back from, it won like best comedy. And then like the next 10 festivals, it was like not selected, not selected, not selected. It's like, okay, yeah, it's a real kind of you love it or hate it kind of thing.
Definitely, definitely. I'm also intrigued as well to ask you, do you have reference or say like inspirations when it comes to first independent filmmaking and then comedy?
Um, so I think back when I made Piss Up and Couple Noises, when it comes to independent film, probably not so much, just because I kind of made those films sort of within 6 months of each other. So I was really just kind of getting the ball rolling with things. But in terms of, my comedy influences, like the real sort of golden era of Channel 4 sitcoms where it was Garth Marenghi's Dark Place and IT Crowd and Peep Show and Spaced, there was this sort of constant, incredible stream of programming that Channel 4 was putting out that was just really funny, really endearing, really charming. Um, and just they were, not like what came before or after.
Yeah.
And that had a
What
real
was about those sitcoms? For instance, you mentioned the IT crowd. What for instance, what about the IT crowd that you say that stands out for you?
I think it was with the IT crowd, it was just the unrelenting ridiculousness of it. Because essentially it's, a group of people who work in IT, but they just get themselves into the most absurd situations that IT people don't shouldn't find themselves in. IT people are just very shy and reserved people, and then suddenly the building's on fire or the CEO is jumping out the window or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, Moss is working behind the bar and he doesn't know how he's got himself there.
Mm.
So yeah, seeing all these sort of mainstays of how great comedy comes together, where it's escalation or substitution, and all of those is just it's just a masterclass, and Channel 4 do it so well.
Yeah. Are you a fan of sitcoms, for instance, like The Office?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, love The Office. I recently just only watched the US Office for the first time not long
Wow,
ago.
really?
I'd seen lots of bits of it separately, but then me and my fiance we just sat down and watched it, and yeah, we
What do you
loved it.
think of it?
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. It's got a lot more heart than the UK Office for sure.
Yes,
It's a lot
yes.
more positivity and likability, I think,
Mm.
amongst characters compared to the UK. The UK version's obviously still great and such a catalyst for mockumentaries in general, but yeah, the US ones, I think I prefer it.
Yeah, and are you also a fan? I mean, something springs up in my mind. Were you ever a fan of things like Mr. Bean, sort of more like character driven, or I don't know, like Borat? Do you like sort of that, also over the top, but more character led sitcoms? Well, Borat wasn't necessarily a sitcom, but yeah,
Yeah, like I've definitely got soft spots for I mean Mr. Bean's a national treasure of
yeah.
a character. I can't say I could remember a lot more moments from Mr. Bean compared to sort of the other stuff that I mentioned. The other sitcom that I was really is probably my favorite and something that I draw a lot of inspiration from now in my more dialogue driven stuff is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Um,
Oh,
because yeah, chaos, conflict, and comedy, I think, are just a perfect storm. And where you've got a show about five really awful people that just sort of shout over each other the whole time, for some reason, that's just a real favorite place of mine to go to and just watch and take that in. And
yeah,
yeah, they've really got their formula for their show nailed down, and there's not really anything else like it. The only thing I could really maybe compare it to is Peep Show, where the two main characters are also quite cynical and not very nice people. But I
mm.
think It's Always Sunny sort of takes it to the next level.
This it's funny you say It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia because I've met people who've seen the show and then they meet me and they're like, "Oh, I think you would love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia," but I've never got around to watch
Mm.
it. I think that's the US Office sometimes to some people that actually never seen the US Office, but I need to get around and watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It sounds good.
Oh, it's all on Netflix, so you've got no excuse.
And with regards to filmmaking, who are sort of your inspirations, or do you look up to anyone particular, whether it's like their style or their, you know?
I've always loved Edgar Wright. Like Spaced, I think it for from a sitcom perspective is such a you can tell how well thought out that show is in terms
Mm,
of how it flows with transitions from scenes and the sort of little cutaway section it does, and then going from that into Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, which are two of my all-time favorite comedy films.
yeah,
Um, I rewatched Hot Fuzz recently after not seeing it for a few years. I was just like, this is so much better than a lot of things that comes out now. It's just an absolute masterclass
yeah,
in comedy and filmmaking and visual gags, which a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people don't do much of with if you can do something in camera to make something funny where someone just like is exiting, re-entering frame quickly or falling out of frame funnily and stuff like that. There needs to be a bit more silliness and fun with the
yeah.
tech and stuff. And Edgar Wright does that really well.
I got one last question to ask you, which is and then we can sort of lean into Piece for Penis. But obviously, you've been selected to many short comedy film festivals, and you've written yourselves a lot of scripts, and you seem to you direct, produce those scripts as well. Do you have any tips for people who want to submit their own shorts to festivals? Like, do you think you could probably give a few tips on about something about the script, about the style of shooting? Do you reckon are there any secrets?
Yeah, don't if you're entering a short film festival,
Mhm.
uh, then make sure your short film is short. Um, I think
That's a
if you
lovely tip, by the way. Short film
yeah,
festival
I think if
number
you
one.
yeah, if you really from what I've heard from other festivals is 15 minutes is kind of where you're maxing out, I think, on
Yeah.
short films. And then anything past that is then quite a lot of an ask, I think, for people who are putting the festival together because it's either, oh, I've made a 25-minute short film that's really good. Does a festival, put that on, or do they put on five equally as good 5-minute films? So it's really about thinking where could your film be placed amongst festivals. So I think the shorter, the tighter, the better. Yeah,
Yes.
I've read scripts recently where it's like a 45 page short film. I'm just like, that's a short feature.
Yeah.
And I don't see where that's going to fit into a festival, to be
Hmm.
honest. As good as it could be. But yeah, just make it short, make it tight, and um yeah, just make it like a really nice, succinct storyline from start to finish.
That's a very good tip, actually, because me obviously running Pigeon Laughs Festival, there's a lot of stuff that I see that, sometimes is 10 minutes, 12 minutes. And if that short doesn't grab your attention within the first minute, I mean, within the first 30 seconds, you can literally tell, oh, this is going to be a long 10 minutes. And if you're feeling that, you got to always put yourself in the shoes of the audience. They're watching this on the big screen and they would actually think, I don't know if this is actually worth
Yeah.
my time. So like literally making it count every single minute.
Mm.
And don't be afraid to just make the first 10 seconds funny. I mean, if there's like a joke you want to put out within the first 30 seconds, do it. Why not?
Yeah. Oh, that 100%. Like if you're making a comedy short, open with a bang, open with a laugh, because a bit of a common occurrence, I think, with short films is that there'll be just a gradual build to one twist or one
Hmm.
punchline in a short. And if it's a couple of minutes of just build up to something that's not a huge laugh, then it just falls flat. So
Yeah.
yeah, start with a bang, and especially in comedy, pepper your jokes and your punchlines throughout the entire script, and don't just let it be one joke because if it's not the best joke ever, then it's just gonna fail and no one's gonna enjoy it.
Praise. Is that what they say? Was that what the kids say? Yeah, that's very good. That's very good advice indeed. Just wrapping up really on your recent selection to the festival, Peas for Peanuts. I'm very excited for people to see the short. I mean, the short is it sounds. I mean, we were talking about peppering your jokes and making it short. The short, even though, is it 9 minutes if I'm not wrong, something around that?
Yeah, just over 9 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, it actually doesn't feel that long. And I suppose this can only be a compliment in a way, because the short, in a way, it's kind of one big long argument with obviously lots of twists and turns.
Hmm.
But was there anything you were trying to achieve different with Peace for Penis with compared to like couple noises? Were you trying to what was it? I suppose the question is, what was it that you're trying to showcase yourself as a filmmaker with Peace for Penis, that whereas you weren't doing it with Piss Up?
Yeah, so the main thing that the main filming approach to this was that we shot it two cameras at the same time. So when it comes to funny dialogue and conversations in comedy, you're getting as much as that sort of natural flow as possible. So
Yeah,
I kind of approached it like it was a scene from a sitcom. Ultimately, that's what I want to do. So this was like, okay, this is practice time for multicam shooting of sort of a sitcom scene or premise.
yeah,
Uh, and I had planned to have it be a bit more cinematic with some like dramatic lighting changes, and we were going to get sort of Dolly and Track and stuff. But I'd hired this pub for about 8 hours, so we did 7 a.m. till was that sort of 2, 3 p.m., 3 p.m., I think. And it became quite evident that it was so tight for this 12-page script that I'd written that we just kind of had to scale back on the day. And we just, put the cameras on tripods, cross shot, and it basically comes off as like a long sketch, really, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
which I don't mind because I feel the dialogue's funny enough to carry it. And like you said, it doesn't feel like 9 minutes, which is, one of the biggest compliments you can get of a film that's close to 10 minutes. So, yeah, it's like I failed in some areas, but then I succeeded in where I really meant to.
And did you shoot all the 12 pages, and then in the editing, did you do some cutting?
Yeah, so did all the 12 pages, and then when I had done the first cut, it was sort of 10 minutes, 10 seconds, and I'd already taken a few bits out then and there,
Yeah.
and then did a couple more edits and then got another minute out of it. And there was like one or two jokes that I really wanted to keep in because I was like very proud that
Yeah.
of them. I thought they were really funny. And it was actually a real lesson in my in my ego, really. It was like, just because I think it's funny doesn't mean it's benefiting the story. And it's like, it was getting to the point where, Perry, the crazy character, had gone off to the bar and he wasn't coming back quick enough. And if I took out this one joke that I really liked, that would save 15, 20 seconds. And I'd had that note from a few people and was sort of pushing against it and just went, do you know what? Let me try it. I took it out and went, oh yeah, that's miles better. And now half the time I forget what the joke is. So it's more a case of don't just have a joke in for the sake of it and that you're really proud of it. If it's not serving the grand sort of story and the overall arc of your film, get rid of it.
Kill your darlings, as they say, right?
Yeah. Put them in a pot for another day. Something else might come around. You might need it then.
Absolutely. Joe, what is it that you're working on at the moment? What can people expect? Do you sort of see yourself making a few more for the short film circuit, or do you want to start working on a bigger project? What is it that's on your bucket list?
Yeah, so I'm kind of involved in a few short film projects now. People have seen, my others, my previous shorts and Peers for Penis, and have approached me either to help direct their shorts or to edit their shorts and stuff. So shooting one next month, Touchwood, if it all goes to plan.
Yeah.
We're applying for funding for another one, and we've got Kevin McNally in the cast, who, if you've seen Pirates of the Caribbean, he's Johnny Depp's right-hand man with the big mutton chops. So he's agreed to be in.
Oh, really? Like
Yeah.
long hair. Well, he had long hair at the time
Yeah, he
in the
just had the
Pirates.
big mutton chops, and he
Yes.
got like a big bucket of water thrown at him in the first film.
Oh,
So
wow.
he's agreed to be in it, and Ricky Groves, who used to play Gary in EastEnders back in the day. So it's got a bit more of an established cast, but we just need a good sort of chunk of funding behind it. So me and
Yes.
Jude, we're sort of looking at
And Daniel
funding.
Craig in the lead
And,
role.
and why not Daniel Craig?
And
Yeah,
Daniel, yeah.
yeah.
And Dame Judy Dench.
Yeah, and then I'm talking to some people about helping out on a sort of an online sitcom, and a few other shorts. So yeah, a lot of it's been Pierce Penis has sort of paid its way in getting my name out there and getting other people asking if I'd be interested in their projects, which is what it's all about, really.
Yeah.
Getting yourself out there in the festival circuit and on online and just trying to make funny things with funny people and see where it goes, really.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. Where can people check out your work? You mentioned your website, but plug in your socials as well if you're happy to, obviously.
Yeah, so my Instagram is Joe underscore McGowan. That's McGowan 88. And then, yeah, again, my website is www.thejoemcgowan.co.uk.
Lovely stuff. And if you're looking for a director or writer for your next comedy short, be sure to hit Joe McGowan.
Or editor.
Or editor, yes, or editor. Or script supervisor. Anything really. If it's in a
I make
comedy.
the sandwiches. Yeah,
Yeah. Catering, anything. Jules, thank you very much for your time. I'm very excited for people to see Peace for Penis at the semi-finalist screening of Pigeon Laughs Festival 2025. I hope to see you there. But if not, thank you so much for making another very funny short, and I look forward for people laughing a lot.
Thank you, thank you.
Hello, it's me again. Did you like the episode? I hope you had fun. I really had fun, actually, chatting to Joe McGowan. He's a true mensch. But let me know what you thought of the podcast. Send me an email at pigeontalkcomedy@gmail.com, or just send a DM straight to the festival Instagram page at Pigeon Laughs Festival on Instagram. I'm here to tell you that I've decided to launch a Buy Me a Coffee page. Okay, so this is a platform dedicated exclusively to the festival and the podcast. That means that for as little as, say, £2 a month, you can have access to bonus features, such as an extra episode I'll be doing with a podcast guest. So this will be exclusively questions and answers episode where you can submit questions to the guest. So I will be releasing the guest's identity before I do the podcast, and you can submit questions to the guest. You can also enjoy other perks such as discounts on the festival, merch, your submission fee on Film Freeway, and for instance, see the full interview and Q&A with my industry guest speakers at the festival each year. Okay, so I understand not everyone can make it down to Cardiff every single year. Cardiff is in a interesting geographical position, not very accessible to everyone. So if you can't make it down, I will be making those interviews, the full interview and Q&A with my guests at our members only Buy Me a Coffee page, buymeacoffee.com/Pigeon Laughs Festival. I'll be tagging that on the description of the podcast. And that's it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope you enjoy the podcast, and I'll see you at the next episode.